event producers are only making their initial sale on the blockchain. They're going to be able to take a percentage of every secondary sale sold on royalty. The whole scalping game, the whole, let's say you can't go to a show, that changes the game.
Do you like heavy metal? Do you like exclusive perks? Well, you want to check out Wicked Cranium, an NFT project that's mixing music and visual art with utility by throwing events for their members. And we've got Wicked Cranium project manager and concept designer, Jack Gallagher.
Hey, very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So I'm the project manager, concept designer for Wicked Craniums. Go by Caruso's Missing in the NFT world. I've been basically involved in the NFT space for a couple of years now. Started consult. Well, first I was just in projects and things like BAYC and stuff like that. But then my background is in music and tech, and I was at Tesla before this, and then prior to that, spent my 10,000 hours as a producer. So I really got excited about how you can combine 3.0 technology with where the music industry is headed. There's a lot of antiquated issues, and that's kind of how the concept of music experience and events with Wicked Craniums was born. We're one of the OG PFP projects, launched about a month after Bored Apes. And we've been just grinding for a while. We're coming up on our year birthday next week. We have a big birthday party in New York City during the NFT NYC conference. It's gonna be insane. But over the past year, it's just been a crazy grind, because the majority of projects from our era have focused on things really important or really dependent rather on a crypto cycle. And we just saw, look where the market's at right now. Everything's falling apart. And we kind of knew that we were in a bubble. And simultaneously with my expertise on the music industry and other members of the team, and the fact that the music industry is ripe for disruption by 3.0, we decided, okay, that's where we're going to focus. And it's been a crazy year in terms of, we definitely became the underdog just because we've been working on deals behind the scenes. But, and we didn't make a game or a DAO because they really seemed like buzzwords that people were just hyping into to try and like pump floors. And our whole goal is to be authentic, so this partnership that we just announced with 5B is a huge step forward in, what music experience and events is.
Yeah, speaking of that, I want to, hopefully I get invited to that party in NYC. I'm here, so I want to definitely attend, Jack. And then let's go back to just the Wicked Cranium project. Tell me more about that and how it actually works.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a generative PFP collection, in its genesis. There are 10,762 Wicked Craniums. And those are all individual NFTs, much like all the other Gen projects that you've heard of over the past year. What really separates us is the utility and the vision. So we basically are an access pass for music events, both in real life and the metaverse. The example I give is like we're a class pass for music events. So there's a huge heavy metal focus just based on the demographic of the project, and some of the big artists like Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot, Megadeath, all these people that have just joined organically. But it's even bigger than that. So, we actually give you the ability to go to over 50 music festivals and even more shows a year by just holding this NFT. It's essentially just a free ticket. And, those are big metal festivals like Knotfest, things like that. But then there's also electronic festivals. There's, some more alt stuff that's not just straight metal. I think it's really important just because and I, first of all, appreciate it thoroughly. But when you say, do you like heavy metal? And I totally get it. But one part of the next year is really making sure that people understand that, it's universal, because music's universal. Skulls are universal. We chose that as art because, screw skin color, screw your sexual orientation, forget it all. Under it, we're all just bones, So it'd be a disservice to that original concept to say we're just one genre.
That makes sense, Jack. Thank you for clarifying that. And I think you mentioned something, and I was looking at the website. Your vision going forward is a big part of utility and NFT projects. I love the fact that you guys are focusing on that. So you have a collaboration with 5B artists in media. They obviously manage people like Slipknot, Megadeath. Can you explain how that collaboration works and how it came about?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I even go into anything, I just want to say how stoked I am on this. You know, the whole team at 5B is incredible. They're held by Corey Brennan, who's just a badass. I could rattle off all the names, but it's been a really incredible experience cracking this off with them. And basically, it's a symbiotic relationship. They're really into 3.0. They have tons of artists that they want to be developing. They have their own event production department. They have all these different sectors that they know are going to be impacted by 3.0, but they don't know how they don't have the team or the experience to execute it authentically, essentially.
Got it.
And then basically we step in to provide full turnkey 3.0 services for them, for all of their artists. And then that also goes into, you know, metaverse development stuff that they're working on with NotFest. And this is actually where it gets really exciting. And, you know, if we're talking about the long term, the utility and the vision, part of what really separates us and gives us the longevity is the fact that, you know, on the front end, you're able to get into over 50 festivals and concerts a year, right? But the way that we're able to pull that off is we go to these event producers. And by the way, we have multiple partnerships on the way. This is just the first one for even more events. And we're able to secure these because we you know, we're talking to them. We're talking about NFT ticketing. We're talking about token gated metaverse festivals, mirroring their festivals that are happening in real life in the metaverse, so they can sell an unlimited amount of tickets to to anyone in the world for the first time. Their eyes light up, and then they're like, "How much does this cost?" Most people are telling them hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. We have one of the best 3.0 teams in the game, and we're offering basically at cost rates in order to give the profit to our token holders, and that the profit is access to all these events. It is like for them, and it's also us getting booths and experiences at all of these music festivals to get in front of our target demographic, you know. And then really like these deals turn into, like, we're talking about 2 to 4 year deals of, okay, NFT integration, NFT ticketing, token gated metaverse festivals. And I don't know, this is not financial advice in any sort of way, but what really excites me is just, I don't know a lot of projects that are able that have a 4 year, 5 year plan, much less with
Yeah,
partnerships
exactly.
lined up with that work. You know, we have our work cut
Exactly.
out for us, and really have just wedged ourselves in the music industry, in the event space, in a sector that it needs 3.0 integration to take it to the next step. Because I mean, we could talk about the royalty system and how antiquated that
Yeah.
is. We could talk about ticketing and the fact that people are, you know, the event producers are only making their initial sale on the blockchain. They're going to be able to take a percentage of every secondary sale sold on royalty. The whole scalping game, the whole, let's say you can't go to a show, that changes the game. That lights them up.
Yes.
So the fact
Yes.
that we're able to provide bespoke services, it just gets them, you know, it gets us, it's like, that's where it gets us to that symbiotic place.
Yep, Jack. And one, I know you're not giving financial advice, but I feel your passion, and I'm honestly there with you because you're saying a lot of interesting things, especially for your NFT holders for the future. And I wanted to hone in on a couple of those things that you mentioned. One, just in terms of like NFT ticketing, that's something that I think, as you mentioned, it could be obviously pretty huge. Is that something that competes with like a Live Nation, it competes with those other events platform, or works in collaboration? And as a two-parter, I loved you talking about, you know, mirroring events in real life with the metaverse. How big can that get? That seems like it's an opportunity for people, especially for artists and people like your platform, Wicked Creatives, that's helping artists. But how big can that get when you look at that in the future?
Huge, huge. No, we're talking billions of dollars. And, you know, obviously any numbers that we throw out are speculative at this point, but
Yeah,
it's,
of course.
you know, the industries at this point are, um, I mean, like, let's approach each one. You know, NFT ticketing, like we said, we kind of said it quickly, but currently, you know, event producers are only making the initial sales off their ticket. If it's on the blockchain, you're going to be able to track not only all the sales and where those tickets are going beforehand, but you're also getting a piece of it. So this is, that's revolutionary. If we're talking about token gated metaverse festivals, these event producers have only been able to sell a fixed amount of tickets to a regional amount of people. And part of the bet that we've made, because we've been throwing metaverse events, people are already having incredible social experiences and a good time at these metaverse shows and events while we're at this really crude level. And if that's the case, and if you're looking at the way that technology has been developing and will continue to develop, you can make a really strong argument that the metaverse show is going to be comparable, if not better, than a live show in person. Like, you're going to be able to have perfect audio wherever you are, perfect view wherever you want. You want the lyrics alongside so you can sing with it. Not to mention just the actual experience. Like, currently, a live show is stuck to a screen. Think about it when it's fully immersive. It's going to blow our minds. I don't want to throw out any numbers because that's not what this we're not trying to. But the core of it is it's huge. It's going to disrupt the whole music industry. And it's really exciting as an artist and as a dev in the space to be able to be talking to these event producers, and some of them don't get it, if I'm being real. Some of them are basically trying to fight it for as long as they can, but then you talk to the ones that do, and then it's just the light bulbs start going off, and that's the pocket that we've really found. And it's kind of just a ripple effect. The first one led to the second, and then that led to two more, and it's just our whole goal is basically to just attack the event space over the next year or two and gobble as much of these events as possible. And to get back to your initial part of the question, so we want to provide custom tailored 3.0 ticketing ourselves. That's the plan. That being said, obviously Ticketmaster, Live Nation, all these people, they're working on that. So if it comes to a point where it's collaborative, that would be, a potentially interesting conversation. But our goal is to basically provide full 3.0 turnkey operation to the events that we're working with. So we could potentially provide better rates and a more customized, service for those events than the larger players could.
That makes sense, Jack. Thank you. That's really, really helpful in understanding that. So I want to switch gears with us for a little bit. Your project is saying that it will allow staking for NFTs. So a lot of people don't know what that essentially means, how it works. Can you explain how this works to those unfamiliar with it? And can you tell us how this will work with NFTs?
Yeah, I'm really happy you brought that up. We don't have a staking mechanic releasing in the near future, but first of all, I'm really incredibly proud of our dev team. Our whole team. I want to shout out Doob, Derb, Law the Saw, Ricky, everyone that's grinding, with me to make this thing happen. But Derb pulled off some incredible work. I'll pull this back for a quick little story, actually, if I can.
Yes.
So we released the first ever ERC 721 for 721 staking contract a few months ago, which in English is the first ever staking contract where you put in an NFT, and instead of getting a coin or a token back, you receive another NFT. That had never been done. And so that contract had never been built. We were working with an engineer to develop that contract, and he started working on it about a month out, and about a week out from launch, and we have a public launch date. The whole community is really stoked. We can't get a hold of this guy, and we're like, okay, what's good? 3 days out, we can't get a hold of him. And we're like freaking out at this point. 2 days out, we're like, this guy is just gone. And Derb, who's our CTO, he's our head, just technical dev. I was like, okay, I got this. And that dude did not sleep, Delano. He just went for I think 39 hours straight, might have been 41, did not sleep. Wow. And he coded the first ever NFT for NFT staking contract in like nonstop, and we released that thing on time.
Wow.
And we're so like just in terms of like us, just shouting at the whole team, A, progressing the space, and then B, pulling off that craziness. I
Yeah,
really got to hand it to him.
that's amazing. That's
And
impressive.
it's wild, and then there's, so there's different, in the future, we have multiple staking mechanics lined up. We are preferring to wait until the 2.0 merge just for the sake of gas. The last mechanics that we released were a bit gas heavy, especially given the fact that they're new contracts that hadn't been done before. So, we really just don't want to make people pay unnecessary fees.
Mm,
But what you can expect are the mega craniums, which are basically if you own 10 craniums that own one trait, you'll be able to swap those out for one mega cranium. And there's stuff we have cooked up for that I'm really excited about, in terms of, the actual artwork, in terms of
yeah,
some really special utility.
amazing.
And then there's some more staking mechanics that I am not at liberty to get into yet, but have
Got it.
me
Got it.
beyond excited.
No, thank you, Jack. One, congrats to your team. That was actually a really incredible story. Reminds me of like Silicon Valley and like the coding. I'm so non-technical, so I love hearing about that. I wish I could be more technical, but I love hearing about what your team is building, especially being one of the first to kind of pioneer in that staking NFT mechanism, which is really cool. I hope we'll probably see more of that. But switching gears, lastly, what steps have you taken? You talked a little bit earlier. What steps have you taken in order to start your metaverse? I think there's plans to build or start a metaverse. And what do you think when do you think that portion will be completed?
Great question. Because we're a metaverse driven project. Obviously, we have everything branching into in real life, but 3.0 in the metaverse is where so much of this is really going to come into play over the next few years. So when we're talking about the metaverse and our metaverse, I think it's I think it's important to make clear that there isn't any one metaverse at this point. The metaverse, we think of it as like a solar system, and all of these different, be it Sandbox, be it Decentraland, be it Crypto Voxels, the Ohm, the stuff going on Frogland. These, those are the planets, right? And those servers itself. So, on that note, it's really, we have a really exciting partnership with the Sandbox. We have an estate with them where we have 36 plots, which is, trust me, way too much land for me to try and develop. We have stuff with Frogland, Ohm. There's a few different partnerships that we have in the metaverse, and they're all being developed. Our focus right now is the Sandbox, because that is going to serve as our main social hub, not only for the community events, but also to be broadcasting some of the live shows that our partners are going to be providing to us. And that's really, that's crazy, because that's going to be the first iteration of, token gated metaverse festivals. And we're providing that space there. Some of these event producers will be buying their own space and we'll be developing it. But many of them are, don't want to make that purchase yet. So it's a win-win for us. It's just more that we're able to provide within our token gated land. So, so I guess, it jumps off so many ways because we have multiple things going. But I guess the short answer to what we're doing is we have builders in there building it. They could be working on it right now. I have multiple calls a week with multiple builders in multiple metaverses. And it's kind of crazy that that's an aspect of the job.
No, it's really cool because you guys are buying plots of land in the metaverse and different, metaverse platforms, and then you will also be able to do your events in these metaverse platforms that are being built currently. Which I love this. If you think about how forward-thinking the team is, it doesn't matter. Like it could be a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years where this is the next thing where everybody's in these metaverses doing their events. You guys are already ahead of the forefront, buying those plots up now. So really, the team is really ahead of the game. So Lastly, Jack, before we let you go, where can people find you and the team and keep up to date with what you guys are doing?
Well, before I do that last plug, I just want to bounce off the last thing you said, if I may, real quick, to say, ever since our first event that we ever threw, which was, and we've thrown them on both coasts, they always happen in the metaverse as well. We live streamed the high quality audio from the board and video. So if you're at the party, you're there. But if you're not able to make it around the world, you're partying in the metaverse with the people at the party. So, we've been on that from the start, trying to blend the realities. And I really appreciate that you see it. Where you can find us, wickedcranium.com, or at wickedcraniums on Twitter, or Instagram. Our Discord is, we can also get some links plugged up there as well. You can find me at Caruso's Missing on Twitter. I'm either talking about Wicked Craniums, a couple other projects that I really like, or basketball. Regardless, it's I really appreciate the time here. And it's cool talking to people that get it and understand where this is going. It's a grind, but black ship don't quit.
Yes, Jack. Thank you. We appreciate your time, and we hope you can join us again soon.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. You take care.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in every day. Also hit that like, subscribe, and notification buttons. We'll see you tomorrow.